Hey guys, so first off, I will admit when I'm wrong, and holy shit, I did not foresee this. I guess I was logging in at the wrong times this expansion, but man, there seems to be a whole lot of tanks now. I feel really stupid, and I really didn't expect the amount of attention to that video, especially considering most of mine get 20 views if I'm lucky. Just real quick, the goal of that video was never for me to piss people off. I mean, I had a lot of people coming in there with some justified, but some crazy ass fucking takes. Like people saying that you shouldn't have an opinion if you're not, like, doing 18s and stuff. Like, no, you can have an opinion no matter what key level you're doing. I don't know who the fuck raised you, but they did a fucked up job. So, with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about what my experience has been like, especially the last 48 hours. The amount of you guys who are thinking about tanking or are afraid to tank, one, you don't have to be. I actually started tanking because we're in our raid team, we had lost a tank and we didn't want to recruit one. At the time, I was playing healer, and I ended up switching, and I never went back. It can be stressful for sure. The amount of over the years, the amount of shit that I've gotten, and it's not a recent thing. It's more of a I don't know. It's more just one out of 20 or 30 groups. Like, you're not going to run into people to say much of anything in most groups. Like, I'd say like 99% of groups, you ain't going to run into that. It's just not going to happen. And, just like a lot of people pointed out, like, the best thing you can do is ignore it, turn chat off if you want. I mean, I rarely have to say anything in group outside of lust. When I get in a group, I just say, all right, lust first pull, we're gonna lust second pull, or whatever, and we're gonna da-da-da. And then I don't really say anything unless people don't know the mechanics, which at this point is kind of rare. I mean, you run into it, but you don't run into it often. So if you are nervous about it, you really don't have to be. But some friendly advice from, at this point, an old man in this game: try your best to make a group of friends to play with. Most of the time I do keys, I have like a healer friend with me. This one was just a random one to get the stupid upgrades for weapons, but try to just make friends. It's the best way to play this game, honestly. And don't take it too seriously, and realize that DPS are going to do whatever they fucking feel like doing half the time. They're not going to care about who they piss off. I don't know why, it's just what they do. If you're tanking, they're going to pull for you sometimes. If they think that they don't care if you have cooldowns. They don't care if the healer has cooldowns. They're going to pull because they have cooldowns. A lot of times, they're selfish and they don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves in these groups. So the best advice I have for you guys is just be prepared to babysit, because that's essentially what a tank is a babysitter. When they do shit like that, you got to be there, or hunters are gonna walk into groups. You got to be ready. That's the best thing I can do. Advice I have for you. And I do think that it's a really good tool. And if you're a DPS player and you never done anything else, I strongly recommend at least doing it at a lower level, so you can kind of see what it's like on the other side of the fence. You don't have to do it all the time, but it's a good perspective. Last season, the last season war within, I actually healed for about half of it, and I was like, wow, this is like, it kind of opened my eyes to, this is why these pulls are dangerous, because blah blah blah. Like I was bad at it, but I realized, like, oh, okay, and may have a respect for what the healers are doing, and the healers have a job that's just as hard, if not harder than ours. If you want my honest opinion, I think healing is harder than tanking, and that is just in a pug setting. It is way, way, way harder to heal pugs than it is to tank them. Tanking them, you follow your route, and sometimes they'll be assholes, sometimes they won't. But healing them, you're patching up all their stupid mistakes, and there's a lot of them. Like this guy right here in the corner, he just stood out in Arnie and did nothing. The healer is the one that has to deal with that. They're going to have to heal that burst of damage. So, I strongly recommend trying other roles if you have that time to play or you have that interest. I feel like it made me a better player overall. It made me more aware of certain things. You're going to see the pull after this one. The Warlock gets all fucking mad and starts double pulling. But that's just the nature of the beast. It's just, it's not worth getting mad about. You just let it roll off you and then move on. I would say that, pug tanking is not for people with thin skin because you're going to get mad. Over here, let's do the Warlock pulls. I have to pick it up. Wasn't ready. I didn't even have Thrash ready. I had to Moonfire it. But again, I'm not going to get mad about it. You're just going to do it. And I actually need to download Mini CC so I can start tracking the DPS cooldowns. But yeah, I'll say that there was a bunch of weird takes. I don't know if it was just people being trolls in the last comment section or what. But at the moment, I am working on a prop paladin. I'm going to show footage and give my insight on gearing up a non-meta tank. Now, I've been playing Druid since 2007, so I was always going to do the Druid. It wasn't meta. When I started it was actually hard to get into groups. This like meta-driven thing we have now in WoW is weird. I'll say I'm not like mad about it, but it's a weird thing, and I feel really bad for people who have like class loyalty. Like I have a loyalty to Druid. I'm always gonna, Druid's always the first one I level in the expansions, and it's the first one I gear, and blah 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 blah. If you were like say a paladin, prop paladin main at the beginning of this expansion, I'm sure you could get into groups, but man, they don't want you. Tell you that right now. I've seen it firsthand. Death Knights are going through that too right now. And let's be real, everybody's capable of doing these fucking keys. It doesn't matter what classes you are. You can go all the way up to at least 18s with anything. Doesn't matter. But, the community is so driven behind this mindset of meta, which is so different. I'm just old now. I guess WoW has just changed over the years. Which, I guess happens. But yeah, that's kind of all I got. Oh, and by the way, anybody who is playing Druid, no, the nerfs don't matter. They really don't. We're not doing obscene damage as much as we were. We're not bursting for 500k and shit, but it didn't affect things like people think. Our threat is still good. Our healing is still good. I'm not beating the healers anymore, but I'm at least keeping up with them. And I'm not really trying. I'm mostly using my rage for Iron Fur. I'm not using it for Frenzy Regen. So, but again, this is a 10 and a 15, 16 keys, and I'm more active with it. But yeah, that's about it, guys. That's all I got. I will see you guys in about a week. I'm gonna work on footage for this prop paladin and then I'll make another video. All right, bye.